Imagine a world bathed in gold, where the sun rises over the river Nile, and ancient stone temples greet the dawn in silence. This is Thebes, the heart of ancient Egypt, a kingdom built on sand, faith, and the will of its gods. Here, statues of deities stand as silent sentinels, watching over a land where only men were meant to rule. But in this sacred land, a woman stepped out of the shadows, claimed the divine right of kings, and wore the crown of a pharaoh. Her name was Hatshepsut, and this is the story of the queen who dared to become king. Born around 1507 BCE, Hatshepsut was no ordinary child. She was a princess of Egypt's powerful 18th dynasty, the daughter of the great pharaoh Thutmose III and his principal wife, Queen Ahmose. From her earliest days, she was immersed in the world of power. Her playground was the palace corridors, her lullabies were hymns to the gods. She learned the intricacies of diplomacy, the sacred rituals of the priesthood, and the art of leadership. It was as if destiny itself was grooming her for a role far greater than that of a queen consort. Following the deeply ingrained traditions of Egyptian royalty, she married her half-brother Thutmose II, securing the royal bloodline. But their union was short-lived. Thutmose II died young, leaving behind an heir who was just a child, Thutmose III, his son by a lesser wife. The court needed a firm hand to guide the kingdom until the boy Pharaoh came of age. Hatshepsut, as the dowager queen and the young king's aunt and stepmother, was the natural choice. She was appointed regent, but Egypt wasn't getting a temporary caretaker. It was getting a revolutionary. At first, she ruled conventionally, managing the affairs of state in the name of her young stepson. But Hatshepsut was far too ambitious and capable to remain in the background. Slowly, methodically, she began a transformation that would shake the foundations of Egyptian society. First, her name began to appear alongside Thutmose III's on official decrees. Then she took a bolder step. In temple carvings and public monuments, she started appearing in the traditional regalia of a pharaoh. Finally, she made her move. Shedding the title of regent, she claimed the full divine authority of kingship. She was no longer just a queen, she was pharaoh of Upper and Lower Egypt. To solidify this claim, she adopted all the symbols of male power. She wore the false beard, a sacred emblem of pharaohs. She was depicted in art with the broad shoulders and muscular build of a male ruler. It was a masterful act of political theater, designed to present an image of stability and divine right to her people. But behind the stone and the symbols, she remained a woman, brilliant, determined, and in absolute control of her destiny. Many in the conservative Egyptian court must have held their breath, expecting the kingdom to descend into chaos. A female pharaoh was an affront to Ma'at, the divine order of the universe. But chaos never came. Instead, under Hatshepsut's rule, Egypt entered a golden age of peace and prosperity. She was not a warrior queen bent on conquest. Her vision was one of economic strength, architectural grandeur, and cultural renaissance. One of her most celebrated achievements was re-establishing trade networks that had been disrupted by foreign invasions. She organized a legendary expedition to the fabled land of Punt, a mysterious, distant kingdom believed to be in modern-day Somalia or Eritrea. Her ships returned not with the spoils of war, but with treasures that captured the imagination of Egypt. They brought back gold, ivory, exotic animals, and, most prized of all, live myrrh trees, which were then planted in the gardens of her temples. This expedition wasn't just a trade mission. It was a powerful statement of Egypt's renewed wealth and global reach under her leadership. With the treasury full, Hatshepsut embarked on one of the most ambitious building programs Egypt had ever seen. She commissioned hundreds of construction projects throughout the kingdom, restoring temples that had fallen into disrepair and erecting magnificent new monuments to honor the gods and herself. Obelisks, shrines, and statues bearing her name rose from the sands, each one a testament to her power and piety. Her crowning achievement, the jewel of her reign, is her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari. Carved directly into the limestone cliffs on the west bank of the Nile, it remains one of the most stunning architectural wonders of the ancient world. With its sweeping colonnades, ascending terraces, and vibrant reliefs telling the story of her divine birth and expedition to Punt, the temple is a masterpiece of harmony and design. It was called Djeser Djeseru, the Holy of Holies, a monument built to ensure her legacy would last for eternity. For over 2 decades, Hatshepsut reigned as Pharaoh Matkare, a name meaning "truth is the soul of Ra." She governed with wisdom and strength, bringing unparalleled stability and wealth to her people. She skillfully used propaganda, claiming that the god Amun-Ra himself had chosen her to rule, legitimizing her unprecedented position. She proved that a woman could not only rule, but could lead Egypt into an era of greatness. But in the world of ancient Egypt, power was a fleeting gift. After more than 20 years on the throne, Hatshepsut died, and her co-regent, Thutmose III, finally ascended to sole ruler. For years he had stood in her shadow. Now it was his time, and with his rise came a reckoning. In the later years of his reign, a systematic campaign began to erase Hatshepsut from history. Her name was chiseled off temple walls. Her statues were smashed and buried in pits. Her image was removed from public monuments and replaced with that of her father, her husband, or her stepson. It was a deliberate attempt to wipe the memory of the female pharaoh from the official record, to restore the traditional, male-only line of kingship. History, it seemed, was trying to forget the woman who became king. For thousands of years, it almost succeeded. Sandstorms buried her temples, and her name faded into myth. The reigns of the Thutmoside pharaohs were recorded as an unbroken chain of men. But the desert never truly forgets. In the 19th and 20th centuries, as archaeologists began to uncover the secrets of ancient Egypt, they stumbled upon a puzzle. They found broken statues with feminine features wearing a pharaoh's beard. They found temples with inscriptions crudely altered. And at Deir el-Bahari, they found her magnificent temple, a silent testament that could not be completely erased. Piece by piece, like a grand archaeological puzzle, her story was reassembled. Her smashed statues were painstakingly put back together. Her empty tomb was identified. Her legacy, buried for millennia, returned to the light. Today, we remember Hatshepsut not as an anomaly, not as a woman who simply ruled in a man's world, but as a pharaoh in her own right, a leader whose courage, vision, and ambition shaped a golden age. She proved that greatness knows no gender. The story of Hatshepsut is a powerful reminder that history is often written by the victors, but the truth, carved in stone, has a way of enduring. Her courage to defy tradition continues to inspire us today. If you were captivated by her incredible journey, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We have so many more stories of forgotten figures and powerful rulers to share with you. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. We'll see you in the next video.